Good morning. Good morning. Oh, all kinds of things. Good morning. And make sure you say hello when you get here so that I know you're here while I'm pulling this up on my phone. And make sure you say hello. All right. Here we go. I think, oh, no, I got one more. Hold on. Hit go live over here. How is everyone doing this morning? Give me a second. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning. Glad to have you here. And I'm going to put some lotion on my hands. My hands are very dry. I can tell that the temperature's changing. My hands get very dry this time of year. And having my hands in water a lot, that seems to acerbate it, right? It reminds me of seeing that commercial where the woman says that her skin is scales or whatever, and you can see when she starts sloughing the scales off, and then she's got the nice skin, right? So I'm giving myself some nice skin. So, how has your morning been so far this morning, Wendy? And I would love to know everybody that is here live, gets here live, the people that are watching the replay and everything. What is the first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning? Great, all good. Wonderful, Wendy. So, what's the first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning? I'm doing fantastic this morning. And that's kind of what made me think about what are your first thoughts when you wake up in the morning? Because I remember a time that when I would wake up, and it's the 29th, right? Gratitude, yes. That there was a time that when I would wake up when it's at the end of the month, and my first thoughts would be, shit, it's almost time to start paying all those bills again. And it was like, that's what ruled my life. And I still drop into that every now and then. It's like, oh, it's due again. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Carrie. That Seth and I are live. Yes, yes. And I will say this morning when I woke up, it doesn't matter that it's the 29th. It doesn't matter about anything. But my first thoughts were, thank you, God, for everything that I have in my life. And, there was a time that was not how I felt about things. And so I'm so grateful that I've gotten to a place where no matter what's going on around, I can feel this sense of gratitude for what I have and the fact that I'm alive and that I can communicate with the people that I love and care about. I keep a gratitude journal. Yes, me too. And one of the journals I keep, I have quite a few of them. One of them that I keep, and I think I've shared with you guys before, it's called The Magic I Witnessed Today. And I don't always write in it. So it's not like I'm spending all day writing in this journal and this journal and this journal. It's like it just calls to me, right? But when and sometimes the magic to me is as simple as, you get somewhere that you're wanting to go. It comes with age. Yeah, well, I think it comes with knowledge because there are a lot of people that are younger now that have gotten into this space quicker than I ever did. And I think it's because there's so much knowledge about all of this world that's available now that when I was a lot younger, never entered my 2000 bits of information, right? So it's interesting. The age does help because you get to where it's like focus on what's important, right? Um, Magic journal. My journal is magic. Yes, it is. It is. And like I was saying, that sometimes my magic I witness today is just that I go somewhere and I end up having an amazing conversation with somebody I don't know. Or I go to the coffee shop and they get my drink exactly the way I want it. Maybe it's that I got in my car and I drove somewhere and saw beauty all around me. So magic is not like some big epiphany a lot of times. Life is magic. Yes, yes. And so it's to me, it's like I can feel excited about life, even if there's something that is not going well, right? And I think that's what's the beauty of being able to work and do all of this stuff that we do together is that we can get into this place that no matter what's going on, we can find beauty around us. We can find something amazing, right? And so let me go ahead and share the today's affirmation. And I'll tell you, I labored this morning on what affirmation and journal prompt I wanted to do because I ended up creating several all at one time. And I had one that I was going to put in here, and then I thought, no, that's not the one for today. And so I labored on it for a while, and this is what we ended up with. I am fearless and visible, boldly sharing my story with confidence and inspiring others with my authentic truth. And I thought this worked really well with the fact that I've been, promoting Stacy's wealth experiment, and you get the free week. And the thing is if you haven't taken advantage of it, do that because it doesn't cost you anything. Yesterday is when it started. You have a whole week, but those the dares and everything that she puts you through gets you to in this place where you can fearlessly be visible and boldly share your story with confidence because each dare takes you a little bit closer. And it doesn't matter if you're not able to continue after that first week. That week will give you just enough motivation and information to change the way you're showing up. And if you can do the whole thing, even better. But if not, take the gift that is raining down on you and take advantage of this free week. And I think you're in there already, Carrie, if I'm remembering right. So I will share the link in the group when I get finished. But and you don't have to take advantage of it. It's just, I think it's an amazing tool that will help you. And there's no obligation to do anything beyond that, right? Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Great to have you. And, one of the things that I was thinking about, I was reading a book last night, and as I was listening to a YouTube video this morning, is that one of the things I think that holds us back from sharing our story or from being visible is typically, now let me know if this is you, if you've ever been in this place where you wanted to be visible and you wanted to share your story and be confident in everything, but you didn't because you were in some little way, shape, or form, you were afraid that somebody was going to say something about your story, which is your baby, right? or they were going to ridicule you. Maybe they wouldn't believe you, or maybe they would have something to say about you getting above your raising. Maybe, who do you think you are? Any of those scenarios, there's a fear that gets inside of you to about stepping forward, right? So has anybody ever experienced that? Yes, Carrie, yes. Well, I want to give you a scenario. And so let's just pretend for a moment. Are y'all ready for a little pretend story? Judgment. Yes, that's it. Judgment. So let's pretend for a moment that you're in a car and you're driving down the road, and suddenly somebody runs a red light, slams into you, spins your car around, and when it stops, you get out of the car and your first thoughts are, and I will just go from where I was when that happened to me, okay? Your first thoughts are, am I okay? And then it's like, shit, look at my car. Now I've got to do the insurance. I've got to, what if they total my car and then there's not enough money to buy another car? And how much time am I going to miss? And how am I going to get where I need to go? And you just drop into all these what ifs, and your heart's racing and all of these things. And it's like the more you think about it and the more you talk about it, the more your heart races. And then you just get into this tizzy, right? So that's what we typically do in that situation. Not always, but that's the typical response, right? And the thing is that we can have that response about to get on a stage or about to share something on Facebook. It's that same feeling of nervousness and angst. It's the same feeling, just different thoughts, right? Well, now imagine that you're going down the road and you see that this accident has happened. It's not your accident, it's somebody else's. And as you pass by, you look at the car and you think, oh man, that's tough. And then you keep going. Your heart doesn't start racing. You don't start feeling all of that angst and all that worry and all that tension and everything, right? Because it happened to somebody else. Yes, yes. I mean, that's what I do too. But then I fall into all the legalities and who's at fault and all these different things, and then the money part and how I'm going to be inconvenienced. So there's a lot more that goes on for me in the past, especially once I know everybody's okay, right? And so then when you're in this scenario where you pass by and you see this accident, you don't get all of those same feelings, right? Well, the difference is one is happening to you and one of them you see, right? But in actuality, they could be the same, because when something comes up, like you're wanting to get up and you're wanting to speak, if you can find this place in you to kind of step back a little bit and look at it from the outside, you can see how, whether somebody has a judgment about what you're about to say or do, that judgment is all them. It does not have a doggone thing to do with you, right? And if somebody puts a post up or says something ugly, that's all about them and not about you, right? And so what I'm getting to is I want you to detach a little bit from the thing that you think is going to happen. Because what we do typically is we get immersed in something with all the anxiety because of all the thoughts and everything that we're thinking around it. And one of the things that I've helped many of my clients with is that when you're about to become visible, when you're about to share your story and you get all that stuff in you, I don't know if I should do this, and you're feeling all of those feelings, that if you'll stop a minute, take a few breaths, and recognize that those feelings of anxiety in that moment are the exact feelings of excitement as well. And so by rephrasing it, instead of standing there or about to go on stage, or you're about to get on a Zoom, you're about to get in front of a group of people and share your story, inspire people, and you start thinking, oh, I'm so nervous, whatever, right? If you can look at that as, I'm excited to share my story. Now, you're going to have to do this a few times to get it to connect right there, right? Because you're so used to labeling those feelings as fear and anxiety and stress that it's going to be a little bit of a switch. But it's one of those muscles that you can exercise that muscle over and over again. And it won't be long till you'll get in front of someone and you'll think, oof, am I excited about this or what? And so it's just doing this pivot. And so it's really, really a cool way of changing those feelings that you're going to feel, especially in the beginning, and making them more positive, enlightening, uplifting feelings, right? Let's see, what does this say? I guess my stage background makes my response to presentations different. I love getting a chance to speak. Yes. Well, Wendy, I do too. The thing is that I can be really confident and able in the places that I always speak, right? But you put me in a place that I've never spoken before, or maybe it's the subject's a little bit different or something like that, and I can get into that little fear, apprehensive place. And so there's probably some place that you step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And, for some people, that's doing it they're doing it for the first time. A lot of the people in the group, one of the things that they've said they wanted to do is be able to speak on stage, and they're not confident enough. And so you're very fortunate that you've exercised that muscle so many times that it feels good to you, right? And a lot of people, not so much. It's something that they really have to work on. And so the more you do something, the easier it becomes. But if you just change the way you perceive things, like the perceiving of that automobile accident we just talked about, it's the perception of the moment. It's the perception of being disconnected from the one that you weren't involved with, but you can disconnect in the one you were in as well, because you're okay, right? I think I've said this before. I was once interviewed for a job and asked if I had any trouble speaking in front of people. And I said, yes. Once you get me up, it's tough to get me down again. Yeah. Yes, yes. And I'm kind of the same. I can just start talking about anything, right? But it hasn't always been that way. It's something that has developed over time. And I will be honest, I remember I had decided that one of the things that I wanted to do when I got started with hypnosis was to go to different places and do some hypnosis, live hypnosis, right? And I hadn't been doing it very long. And so I didn't feel confident enough with knowing exactly what to say. So I had everything written out on index cards. And I'm not saying I had little bullet points. No, I had it word for word on these index cards. And then I had them numbered so that if for some reason I dropped them, I would be able to pick them up and put them back in order, right? And so one of the first times I did that, went and did the talk, was I had gone to the library and told them that I was a hypnotist and that I would be willing to do some free hypnosis for people. So they booked me to come in and do a hypnosis. And luckily, only one person showed up because I was so friggin' nervous because I was new to hypnosis. And I could stand up and talk about a lot of things, but hypnosis wasn't my go-to thing. It wasn't part of me yet, right? And so I didn't even feel like I could tell people what hypnosis is and what it's not. There was so much I didn't feel confident enough about, but I had my certification and I was going for it. So there was only one person there. And I looked at my index cards and I stood up in front of her and read my index cards. And then I took her through a little mini hypnosis thing that was not very good at all because I was reading it off of an index card. But the thing is exercise that muscle. And so the next time I got up in front of somebody, I didn't have to use the cards quite as much. Good morning, Ginger. And then the next time I had to use them less, and then I had to use them less. And so it was like every time I did it, I got more confident and more more able to get visible about it, right? And we all have amazing stories within us, all of us. Because it doesn't matter who you are and what you've been through. Some people have been through more than others, but there's somebody that needs the inspiration of going through something and coming out on the other side with some type of epiphany, this new idea, this new feeling, this new thought, or even if it's, I'm still going through this and this is how I deal with it, right? But somebody needs that story, but we hold ourselves back so much from sharing it. And so that's why I really wanted to have this affirmation for today. And so put this on your index card, your screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, your mirror with your chalk marker. Thank goodness Ginger has given me some chalk markers, so I've got more of those to work with. Put it somewhere that today, this is you. And remember, anything that comes after the words I am are ultra powerful, right? So I am fearless and visible, boldly sharing my story with confidence and inspiring others with my authentic truth, because people want and need. Loved our painting party we had. It made me feel so inspired. Oh, I loved it too. And I actually shared my picture yesterday because I was telling them about it. So I'm going to make it in this day. All right. All right, Sandra. So, how do you feel when you say this affirmation? I am fearless and visible, boldly sharing my story with confidence and inspiring others with my authentic truth. How does that feel? Let me look at the time. Is there an angst that comes up if you think that this is how you show up? Or does it feel good to think that you are fearless and visible? Empowered. Ooh, I love it, Carrie. That's a really good word. I love that. And I know you are working on getting even more visible. So good for you. I see your stuff, and you're doing amazing. You really are. Just stepping out more and getting your group up, and that it's inspirational. Yes, you are. You are, Carrie. You're welcome. Oh, wait a minute. You may not be saying thank you to me. Ah, yes. So, because you guys have been doing the breast cancer awareness, and is tomorrow your thingy? I think, why can I not remember? I guess I just have too many things. So I know you've got it's either today or tomorrow, I believe. And so it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, tomorrow. Okay. I was thinking I was right. And so I definitely am excited for you guys to see how much you end up raising for breast cancer. So let me get back to where are we at? To our affirmation. So I love feeling and recognizing that I am fearless and visible, boldly sharing my story with confidence and inspiring others with my authentic truth. And let's look at that too, the authentic truth, right? Because a lot of people are sharing things. And when you get on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any of these places, there are people that are sharing stories, and they're uplifting, and they're doing things, right? But sometimes people are sharing things that maybe they think people want to know or want to hear, and those kinds of things. And maybe they're not being as authentic in the process. And so, and most of the time, people can see it and feel it, don't you think? And Carrie suggested sharing it with our groups to increase funds we raise. Yes. Yes. Good idea, Carrie. And you can put that in the, if you haven't already, you can put that in the collaboration group. And I think you're in there as well, Wendy. So you could each share about that and just see, who knows what can come up from that. So do you recognize when you're being authentic or when you're holding back? And sometimes, like the story of the car, right? Where we get all this anxiety about things that maybe then we're afraid we'll have more judgment if we're not being authentic, right? Or if we are being authentic. And the thing is that when you're being authentically you, people gravitate to you more. So when you're sharing your story, Wendy, of your breast cancer, or not, it wasn't the marker, whatever the heck you call it. But for now, we'll just say your breast cancer, your breast issue, right? When you share that story authentically from inside, you inspire more people to come forward and help, right? But if you had a story that you just made up and you thought it was a better story or whatever, because you didn't want to be vulnerable and all of that, it would not convert, because people can feel when you're being authentic. Gene mutation. Yes. I couldn't remember what it's called. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt. All right. So our journal prompt for today is, where in my life can I step up and share my story more openly? And what fears can I release today to be seen and heard fully? Let's see, what does this say? Only post positive things online, even if I'm not feeling it, but it helps me to feel more positive. Yes. But sometimes sharing a little bit about what's going on with you can help people to see that they're not alone. And then you can end it with an upside, right? So that they know that even though you've gone through that, that you're still can feel some inspiration. But there's nothing wrong with sharing your story and how you feel authentically, because who knows, like when you first started having issues, and or when you're having issues and you feel like I'm the only person that feels like this, that can be so condensed. It can be just pressure, pressure, pressure. But when you see that somebody else has a story and they're dealing with that too, and it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. Now, I don't think there's a value in just staying immersed in that problem. I mean, maybe there is for some people, but like, when you're going through grief, maybe it's good to be with a bunch of people that are also going through grief, and it kind of helps you to know you're not alone. But if you stay in there forever, you're going to stay in the grief. So I feel like it's good to share some of our story, even if it's not so good. I share bits and pieces of mine all the time, even though it's not so good. And the thing is that there are people that really resonate with those stories, because then they feel like, for one thing, I'm more relatable, but the other thing is that they think, damn, my life's not so bad. I don't know if anybody really feels that way or not. That's what I think sometimes. And I will say, I had a client once that I had I was telling her one of my stories, and she said, damn, Vicky, you've dealt with a lot of crap in your life. She said, I'm so glad I haven't had to do that. And I thought, what? Perspective. Yes, yes. So let's look at this journal prompt. I think tomorrow at luncheon, there will be some authentic talk about my story. Yes, Wendy, yes. There should be, for sure. So this journal prompt today, I love these kind of questions. Where in my life can I step up and share my story more openly? I mean, where can you? You can in this group, right? In the Stand Up and Stand Out community. So if you're on a different platform and you're watching and you need a place to come in and authentically share your story, that you can be vulnerable and people will rally around you, come to the Stand Up and Stand Out community. All you have to do is go to VickyPoole.com, VICKIEPOOLE.com, and you'll be prompted to answer questions. Answer the questions. And then I'll let you into the group, and you'll be a member, and you can join us. And so the thing is where can you share your story? There's this group. Maybe you have your own group. Maybe there's a community somewhere, even a community that's live that you can go to and you can share parts of your story. So where can you do that? So just really spend some time with this journal prompt and just brain dump the places that you can openly share your story. And then, what fears can you release today to be seen and heard fully? Because the reason that you're not sharing now as many places or in certain areas that you want to, that you could, is probably there's a little bit of angst and fear of judgment, of leaving and not feeling good about it, right? So what fears can you release today to be seen and heard fully? And, releasing fears of judgment. Yes, Carrie. There are so many fears that hold us back when it comes to this kind of thing. I share a lot of things with my limb-girdle muscular dystrophy group. Yes, because they have a shared common theme in their life, right? So it feels less vulnerable. Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. And that's why it's good to share in this group, because even though like you have the muscular dystrophy, Ginger, but even though there's another person that has, it's not muscular dystrophy. What is it she has? I don't remember, but anyway, she's in a wheelchair like you are. So the thing is that you can be in the group and share some of your story and get it out, because you are, the things that you deal with on a regular basis is, to me, mind-blowing. And whew, you, Ginger, are such an inspiration to everybody that knows you and knows your story. And I wish you would share it more. I'm just going to say it. Whew. Wasn't planning on crying today. So let's get back to the affirmation. I'm looking at the time. I've got a client I got to get to. So our affirmation today is, I'm fearless and visible, boldly sharing my story with confidence, inspiring others with my authentic truth. And just take that and bring it into your heart and live that today. And if you don't want to live it tomorrow, you don't have to. But definitely just try it on for today. Like it's a new suit, like it's a new outfit. Just try it on, see how it feels. And you might be surprised how it can feel so liberating and so inspiring that you might want to keep wearing it, right? And then our journal prompt. And remember what I say all the time about our affirmations and journal prompts is to have a notebook, a journal that you put the date and the affirmation and the journal prompt. You get into silence, get into your breath, and just relax into letting the mind chatter recede. And then when you open your eyes and start writing this stuff down, it's going to be coming from your subconscious mind, and it will give you inspiration and ideas that you didn't even know you had in there, right? So where in your life can you step up and share your story more openly? And what fears can you release today to be seen and heard fully? Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. All right. So I hope this has been a little bit of a movement for you to step up and be fearless and be visible, because your story is important. And think about it. If you shared your story and it helped one person, it would be worth it. But more than likely, it's going to help one, and then another, and then another, and then another, and another, right? So you're putting your own ripple into the world just by being you and sharing. All right. So I hope this has been good for you today. And if you feel led, share some of your story in the group. And just whether you want to do it in the written form, or if you want to do it a video, whether it's recorded or it's live, whatever you want to do, just share some of your story. Give a little hint of who you are, and you may find that there's someone in this group that needs to hear your story. And before we leave today, because I've got a client to get to remember tonight is Ruthie's talk with us. She's our guest expert at, what time is it? 7 p.m. Eastern. She's going to be in, just joined. I'll see it from the start. Thank you, Louise. Lois. I'm trying to see the name. So, tonight she will be talking to us about holistic health, and she's going to have a lot of inspirational things to talk about. She and I will be there having a conversation, and you will be in the comments, and you'll be able to ask her questions and interject some of your expertise and ideas and how you feel about things. And it's going to be amazing. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And so that is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. And so it is in the in the events section of the group. You'll see that there's a link to the actual conversation, and it will say, join the live, and it'll be live in the group too. So just make sure you go in and say that you're going to be there so that we can be expecting you. And then you will get the little reminders and everything that the events send to you. All right. So I've been so happy to be here with you guys. And as Wendy so eloquently has said, be fearlessly authentic today. Put on this new affirmation as your new suit today and just try it out. See how it feels. And I will see you tonight. That's goals. Yes. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern with Ruthie. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll be here again. Mwah.